kind of challenges come along with having the smaller, faster lineup this year?
I mean, I just think most of the time it's how way you approach it. I mean, I remember a few years ago, Duke was small, went to the national championship game, and they didn't have that many guys. And obviously, I just think it depends. Every season, you're going to have some pluses and minuses or some pros and cons going into the season. So, we feel like, no, we don't have size, but we do have athleticism. And we do have speed, so we feel really good about that, and we just got to take advantage of what our strengths are, and I think those are, a couple of our strengths.
And how do you plan to take advantage of that speed? Is it going to be mostly in terms of getting a rebound and getting down the floor really quick, or?
Well, I mean, I just think a lot of different ways. I mean, I think that's one of the ways you get the rebound, try to beat people down the floor, but also when you got forwards and don't have centers, you can get those guys out on the perimeter and back screen and get those guys into the post or get them on cuts or get them in the position that they can put the ball on the floor. That's one thing about our guys. They're versatile guys. And, people talk a lot about big guys and all of that kind of stuff. But, when I look at Draymond Green, I don't think people are concerned about his size. And there's a lot of people that play the game. P.J. Tucker, who plays bigger than what. So, again, it's always a concern because you don't have that guy that may be 6'10", 6'11". But then again, if you're 6'6", 6'5" guys get the job done. No one would have told you that Kevin Mays, the type of guy that he is, that could have some way got as many rebounds he did in our league and became one of the best low-post players and one of the best rebounders. So, obviously, again, you always like to have size, athleticism, quickness, shooting. You, as a coach, you would like to have it all. But in reality, I like our team. I like the makeup of this team. I like the chemistry of this team. I like where we're going to be able to build with it. I think we're an inexperienced team. I don't say we want to say we're a young team. We're inexperienced, because we only have a couple of guys that have actually been on campus and been in our program for 2 years. But, man, they're really determined and they're really working hard, and I'm excited about, this season and what I think we can build from this young team.
And with Brent as a grad assistant this year, what's his role and responsibility like, and how's that going to help?
Well, it helps. I mean, I think anytime you've had anyone around your program, as long as he's been around the program, he understands the culture. He understands the expectation that we have from not only our coaches but the players. He's young enough. He's just got finished playing, so he can relate to what our players are going through. He can give us a gauge on, fatigue level and those type of things. But most of all, he's just been in our program. I mean, he's been basically part of our coaching staff for the last 3 or 4 years, because the relationship that he has with our coaching staff, that he knows what we want. So it's an advantage to us to always have a former player that's, a part of your staff.
And Coach, your 2 transfers, how much can we expect to see them early on?
A lot. I think Darius Williams is a guy that, may have a great opportunity to start for us. He's long, he's athletic, he has a high IQ. He's getting stronger, which he came here, kind of thin, but he's put some weight on, but also he's gotten strong. Very versatile guy. I think people will get a chance to see that, and that's good for us. He's 6'8", but probably with his wingspan, he probably can be considered a 6'9", 6'10" kid. And then, Kevin McNeil, I think it maybe has a chance to be one of our best defensive players, but also he has a knack for scoring, not necessarily shooting it or doesn't do anything overly impressive. He just figured out how to get the ball in the hole, and obviously we need that. So I'm pleased with both of those guys. I'm pleased with their adjustments. Again, I think our guys that have been here have built the kind of culture that they have pretty much, I guess, by showing them what we want to do and the way we do things. And I think those guys have really responded well.
Last year we saw Davis and Lee really break the lineup. Is there somebody we can expect to break the lineup in your mind right now?
Oh, wow. I mean, that's I'm unsure of that right now. I mean, I told our guys, you know, it may be a while, even if we may not ever get to this point in the season this year that we have a starting five. I mean, that could change from game to game. As I just mentioned, Kevin is a guy that can really defend, and you know, but he doesn't defend the way we want to all the time now because he just doesn't understand the terminology and what we're trying to do. We're going to get him to that point. Darius Williams is another guy that, you know, probably, you know, people won't know about until they see him play or how he fits into what we're trying to do. So, and then you're talking about the guys that are returning. I just mentioned Taze Moore is probably stronger than he's ever been. He's healthy again, and, you know, we felt like last year he would be a starter if he could have got healthy again, and probably would have took one of our guys, whether it was Ricky or Jarkel or one of the other guys, put him on the bench. Well, now he's back in the mix. So I just think our team could change from game to game, starting lineups. Who finishes the game could depend on other people. And then it just depends on where we are as far as our conditioning. I mean, because we want to get up and down the floor, we want to pressure the ball. You know, it could be some changes just from that standpoint. So the thing I like about this team is the versatility, but also I like the point of I've seen our guys really depend on each other and work together. So you know, I just think chemistry in the game situations, that's going to be something we need to work on. But I really like, you know, the guys and the way they're coming together.
And talk about those returners. Davis and Lee, besides them, have gotten bigger, faster, and stronger, it looks like. Just talk about how their game has grown since the break.
Well, I mean, that's one of the things that I think every season, every team, until you've gone through it, I think it's almost with anything. I think all of us could say that, whether it's been my first year being a head coach, a position that you've taken. At the second year around, you start to figure out how to do things a little bit smarter. You start to figure out the intensity that you have to play this game. I could tell Justin Davis how it's going to be against Arizona or New Mexico State or Grand Canyon. I can tell him how strong you need to be, but until actually he's been in the game, then you start to say, okay, now I understand what Coach's saying, which I'm not saying those guys don't trust, which they do trust me. I think that's why I'm super excited about them. But more than anything, when you've had that experience, he understands now what it takes to compete at a high level. So both of those guys made a commitment to the weight room. Both of those guys have been in the gym a lot, you know, working on their games. So they're different players. But that's one of the things, again, we think we pride ourselves on, you know, making people better. And I think people will see both of those guys have improved, and because of their improvement, I think it makes our team better.
Talk about that senior leadership with Damian, Zuber, and Ricky, just what they've done for this team in the practice and then keeping the competition high.
Well, I mean, again, you got guys that are challenging those guys. I mean, Taze Moore may be one of the most talented players on our team, and then we just added, you know, Kevin McNeil. So those guys are getting pushed and challenged every day. The thing is I think just what we've done, and we can start with, you know, Ricky Holder, or you start with James Suber, but you probably go back to Kevin Mays and Brent Rapp and Jalen Arrington, back that far as setting a culture for who we are today. And it's just being passed down. That was work that we did 8 years ago, you know, when we got here. With my son Brandon and Javante Maynard and guys like that we would get in the gym and we would work, and this is the way we do things. It just took us a few years to put our team together enough and put all the pieces together, you know. I like to say this year, I think we're in the point now that the foundation is built in a lot of places in our program, and now we feel like we could take that next step to be consistent in what we do. Last year we took a drop off because of injuries, because of we made a change to go with a lot of young kids as far as high school kids, and now we feel like we're getting to the nucleus that we can be consistent in what we do. So, you know, it's our seniors. No, I can't take anything away from those guys, but I think the table had been set, you know, already. And then again, when you have guys like Brent Rapp that are still around your program, to kind of help with those guys doing that. It just makes it easier.
Last year was Brent's 5th year in the program. Obviously it was hard at the beginning of the year, but
Right.
The two of you were probably on the same page more often than not. So
Mhm.
now that Ricky's kind of had his year in the program, been able to figure things out, he bounced around a little bit because of the injuries and stuff
Right.
last year. But how do you feel if the comfort level between the two of you, his command of the offense and defense?
Well, I think one of the things that Ricky has probably even to more of an advantage than anyone else is that he has both of us. I think he gets a chance to hear from a head coach's perception, but also he has a former player that played in front of him a lot last year that now can help him for his player-to-player kind of relationship. And I think that's been a great thing. One thing about our team, again, and I think Brent has helped with that, the rest of our staff have that, we've established already, where we want to go with leadership. We've kind of established already, as far as Ricky being our point guard. I felt like last year when we started at this time, he got off to a really good start. And then we added Brent to our lineup. And then that's when I think he started trying to figure his way out. So this team looks to him. He's a guy they believe in. And, again, it's my job and Brent's job to try to help that transition be easier. And, I think because the support there. Again, I think when you start to establish continuity in your staff, you start adding continuity that, we got guys on our staff that were former players. My son's a 5th-year guy being in the role that he's been around. You've got a lot of direction there to kind of help you set the culture. We've got a young team for years here, but we've got an old staff as far as guys being together and being around our program. So that makes, if you got good leadership and guys want to follow, and that's what I'm excited about this team. They want to follow, and they want to learn. They want to win. They realize where they are. Last week we were picked 5th. A few years ago we got picked 4th or 5th, and I got back and the team was mad. And this team here wasn't pleased to be picked 5th, but they was like, okay, now we got to go to work. And that's the kind of attitude you want to have with a team with so less of an experienced plan. You don't want them to be fearful. You want them to be confident, but you don't want them to be overconfident. And we're not that. We're in the stage of we know we've got to work to reach our potential, but I think they realize they have a high ceiling.
When you have the blue and gold this Thursday, are you wanting to see something from your team, not maybe just in play style, but communication-wise, because we know it's just a scrimmage?
Well, from a coaching standpoint, I think probably more of my excitement is going to be our walk. That's Dignity is sponsoring, so I'll get a chance I can just follow the lead of other people. And we thank them for being a part, being sponsored, helping this blue gold game go. I'll be excited about our sponsors because I'll get a chance to hang out with them a while. I'll get a chance to visit with our fans for the first time. You're going to probably get where I'm going here in a minute. I'll be excited about the students, and our students are coming, and we're excited about them being there. As far as the game and what we're doing, I'll try to keep my eyes closed, and I won't, watch it, as much as other people and fans are doing. So it's what around this game that I'm excited about. I'm excited about the walk. The march of kindness. I'm excited about Dignity coming here. I'm excited about the card that's going to be given away. Someone's going to make a shot this year, so I'm excited about that. I'm excited about the slam dunk. I'm excited about our ladies coming out and playing. I'm excited about all of that. But when you start talking about the blue gold game for the men, we'll be moving on to practice immediately following the horn goes off, okay? So hopefully I answered your question.
How'd you go about building your non-conference schedule?
Well, our philosophy has kind of changed a little bit. As you can see, we're probably going to play 3 of the best teams in the country before we get into conference play. We've got some other games that are not as tough games. We got a couple of non-D1s because you don't want your guys to lose confidence. You know, you want to try to win some games and not get on a losing streak because you're playing really good competition. And then we've got some teams that we really match up well with, you know, that I think is good. I think our schedule is leaning toward the tougher side before we get to conference play, because I think, you know, we start off with TCU. There'll be a top 25 team. 2 or 3 weeks after that, we'll be playing against USC at their place, and there'll be a top 25 team. And maybe by the time we play Gonzaga, they might be the #1 team in the country. So that makes it tough for us, but that's where we feel like we've got to make a move in our program. We felt like we've gone to Arizona and played well, came up short, but it has helped our team. You know, we went to SMU and played them a really close game. Probably 3/4 of the game last year we played UCLA really well. We don't not even going into the game in a sense for us trying to figure out whether winning or losing in that case. It's how we play, how we handle the atmosphere, how we handle the competition, that we can have ourselves where whenever we get back to the NCAA tournament, we believe that'll be sooner than later. We're not intimidated by the name or the jerseys or where they came from or how big the arena is or whether we're an underdog or whatever people might say. We'll feel comfortable that we've been in this place. And I told our team we want to be uncomfortable. And this schedule, sometimes this season, is going to be very uncomfortable for us. But if we get comfortable with that, then what will happen is we'll make progress. There'll be growth in our program and with our team. Probably the last point of that, we want the exposure. We'll play 3 top 25 teams. Again, we might play Gonzaga. They might be #1 in the country. Hey, we want that. We want that for our team. We want that for our program. We want that for Bakersfield. Hey, we want to get where we're playing against the best people in the country. And one day we don't just be playing against them. We'll beat them. And the only way you're going to beat them, you got to play them.